Tell everyone who you are.
So I'm Rob Guerrera. Used to produce Pro Football Talk with Mike Florio, and now I'm with SB Nation and Niners Nation.
Thank you so much for joining my show. What's on your mind, man?
I'm getting a little worried. I'm a little worried about the defense. There's a lot of injuries. I'm worried. I don't like that Kinlaw can't beat Lake and Tomlinson all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Make me feel better.
Okay, well, let me ask you some questions. I don't know what's going on with Nick Bosa and Dee Ford. They're being very tight-lipped. Dee Ford's got a calf injury. That's always kind of scary. And Nick Bosa, they just won't say. Leg strain. If those two were to miss any amount of games, would you be looking to sign a defensive end? I know there aren't that many guys out there, but you got the Cardinals week 1. Would you do something drastic? Do you know how much cap space they have? Is this even a possibility?
Here's the thing. The only guy I'd want is Clowney. But what's the problem with Clowney? He's always hurt too. So I don't really know if there's a solution out there. And I agree with you. I don't think Dee Ford is ever going to be healthy. I think this is just the state that he's in right now. And I don't think it's going to get any better. Well,
let's just discuss. Let's stay with Clowney. That's an interesting topic you bring up. And you're right. He's always hurt. But from his perspective, if you know that about yourself, wouldn't the Niners kind of be the best spot because of all that depth on the D-line? He wouldn't have to play 1,000 snaps or even 500. He could play all the good snaps. He could get third down, all the money stuff, and let Eric Armstead, Javon Kinlaw do the dirty work. Wouldn't it be an attractive destination for Clowney?
It would be if that's all that matters. But if he's trying to get one more big payday before he walks away, he's not going to get that in San Francisco because they just can't do it.
No, he can't get it in San Francisco. But let's stay with this. If he were going to get that big payday, wouldn't he have gotten it already? What's he waiting for? It's not going to come, is it?
I think it's not going to come because originally I would say, well, he wanted to skip camp and skip the preseason, but this is a whole different world we're in now. So I think maybe he just has an unrealistic number in his head. And maybe he's at the point now where he's like, look, if I don't get this number, I don't need to come back and play.
Interesting. Well, it's possible he'd take a year off, but isn't it possible that he may have some mediocre 1-year deals on the table from like Seattle and maybe another team? And he's thinking, I can always say yes to Seattle and go back there for a deal that I think is insulting, or I can wait it out and see if I can get something similar from the 49ers. What if he gets something? It's like, oh, look, if I'm going to get a slap in the face from Seattle, why don't I go and get something similar from their rival and get an even better chance to get to the Super Bowl and stick it in their face? It seems so alluring from Jadeveon Clowney's perspective. I don't know if it's possible. I looked on over the cap just now. They have $13 million in cap space. So that's not enough, I don't think. But cut down day is Friday. They can make some space if they need to. They could cut Tevin Coleman. They could cut Tom Compton. Those two right there, almost $5 million. So, look, I'm not saying they're going to – I don't know. But it just seems like if Nick Bosa and Dee Ford, if there's something there and we don't know, then maybe you do this. Maybe you do it either way.
You can never have too many good pass rushers. And if Clowney's agent calls the Niners and says, look, my guy wants to play with you and he's not looking to max out his money, if you're John Lynch, how do you turn that down? You saw it last year. They were churning through defensive linemen the way a teenager goes through outfits. Like they couldn't get enough good offensive linemen. So, say
what you just said again. If the agent calls and you're John Lynch, how do you turn that down? I agree with you. And it just seems very realistic. If you're down to 1-year deals, right? If that's all that's on the table for Clowney, where do you want to go?
Yeah,
here.
You can't think of a better place. You're playing alongside Nick Bosa and Armstead and all those guys.
Right. So what you do is you call John Lynch and say, look, Clowney understands he has to take another 1-year deal. And if that's the case, he wants it to be here. Can you make it work? Can we make this work? And that probably it's tough. It may not. Maybe the answer is no. Maybe ultimately they can't. But maybe they can get creative if there's a need. I don't know. I just feel like this Clowney thing is going to happen right at the 11th hour before the season starts. And I don't think he's going to sit out the season. I think he's going to make some money this year. I just wonder what he's going to ultimately decide. And if the Niners kind of swoop in at the end, because realistically they should. Like just thinking it through, I think we're on the same page there.
Which never happens, by the way.
Never happens. So look, let's call John Lynch and tell him what to do.
I mean, you're Lynch too. You can go to maybe other guys in the team and say, look, Clowney wants to come here, but we got to shuffle some things around. Can we move your contract? Can we adjust this to bring him in? Because then we'll go get a ring.
Yeah. Now, D Ford probably wouldn't take less money because he's also this is going to cut into his snap count too. But Jimmy, hey, Jimmy, would you like to have Jadeveon Clowney on your team? Come on. How about maybe he would? I don't know. So that's a lot of speculation, but it's an interesting topic. It's an interesting topic. And if the Niners have that up their sleeve, then if they can bring in Jadeveon Clowney, they're going to win this division. They're going to win this division. And I think that's not just a given. I think this is the toughest division in the league. 1 through 4. I mean, the NFC South is good too, but the Panthers, I don't think much of them. The worst team in this division is the Rams, and they were 9-7 last year. So Clowney.
You think the Rams are better? You think the Rams are worse than the Cardinals?
Yeah, I'm not worried about the Cardinals, but I think the Cardinals could be like a real ascending team. But maybe they're all hype. I know people say, like, are they the Browns of this year? But I think the Browns were a tire fire because of Freddie Kitchens. And Kingsbury's going into his second year. He looked pretty good last year, better than I thought he'd be.
Yeah, but I don't think he knows a single thing about defense. And even though Kyler, I think, is better than Baker, I don't think the Cardinals have quite the level of skill players that the Browns have.
True. I don't know what that defense is going to be like, but I think there's a possibility that offense scores 30 a game. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. Maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves. I got the deep waiting in the lobby. I'm going to let him in, but it was great seeing him in. That was a nice surprise. Come on again sometime. All right, thanks, man. Good to see you. Rob Guerrera, a celebrity. See, that's the kind of clout we have over here.